Hi guys! So this is going to be my 33-week update, and I am just going to apologize. It's like end of 33 weeks because I've had a really bad week. So I did end up in the hospital last night, so I'll talk about that later. And now I'm in bed rest, so that's why I'm in my bed, which I'll also talk about. And yeah, so let me just talk about my week. I'll talk about the baby first and then the symptoms. We did have our childbirthing class on Friday night and all day Saturday, and then I'll talk about the ER visit, and then I'll do my measurements at the end. I'll crawl out of bed and do that for you. So the first thing is the baby. So she's great. Everything's happy, healthy, perfectly fine with her. They say the baby now is between 17 and 19 inches long, and they think that like maybe in the next week or two that they'll keep growing, like there'll be another inch in a couple of weeks even. So, and then their weight is at about 4.5 pounds usually at this point. So yeah, almost full grown at that point. I mean, you could typically have like a 6.5 to 9 pound baby. It's only a couple pounds away. And the other cool thing this week is they've developed their own little immune system. So if you did go into labor at 33 weeks for whatever reason, and I really hope that you don't, they do have their own immune system. They do have they could have complications of getting like jaundice, and it's not as like strong as if they were full term, but at least now at this point they do have their own little immune system to kind of fight some infections. So there's that. My symptoms, before going to the ER, it was just the constipation, which was just every couple of days I would pass bowel movements, and which is fine. It's been like that pretty much my whole pregnancy, so that was not really that concerning. My doctor did give me some stool softener last night and told me to keep kind of taking it until like I just kind of get regular. And let's see, congestion is getting really bad. And I don't know if you can tell, but my throat is really scratchy today. I kind of blame that on some of the medication, but I also blame it on just the constant congestion is starting to just drain down, and so I need to get that under control too. And lack of sleep was really bad this week. Like, I was waking up with contractions and just the baby moving and just like congestion. I'd pee. Like, I was getting like 4 hours of sleep a night. It was really, really bad. And by Friday at work, I was just like zombie mode. And it felt like a 40-hour day. And I just could not focus at all. So it was really bad, because then I went to work, and then we had our 3.5-hour class that night. So yeah. And then I am still puking kind of like on occasion. I think it just has something more to do with like if I eat too much, or the type of stuff that I eat. Not really that, because I'm not really feeling nauseated. I just will, like, after a couple hours of eating, just be like, ooh, I'm going to get sick. She's been really wanting to play fetch, so I apologize if she comes and interrupts. So yeah, that's my symptoms. So as far as the childbirthing class goes, it is a really, really good idea if you're a first-time parent to go to this class and make whoever your partner is, or if it's going to be like if your mom is going to be in there with you in the delivery room, or whoever's going to be in there with you or has a chance of being in there with you, make them go, because there's a lot of information that they can learn from it too. So they talk, and depending if you want to freak them out or not, but they do show like actual vaginal births and cesarean births, so on video. So I didn't tell the baby dad. I kind of knew going in that they would do that because someone else warned me about it, but I didn't tell the baby's daddy, so he was kind of like in shock when they were like, okay, now we're going to show labor delivery. He's like, really? Okay, awesome. So, yeah, that's fun, actually. So, don't tell them, because then you'll just get to see their reaction. They do a lot of really good anatomy reviews, so they'll talk about, like, the uterus, your mucus plug, your, like, what it looks like to dilate, what it looks like to efface, like, how the baby should be positioned, what's normal. Like, if you're posterior, if their baby's posterior, like, what type of complications you can have, what you could feel. And they actually do talk a lot about, they talk a lot about the complication or the medications that you can take while you're in labor. So there's that. There's a big section on it. They do the hospital tour. If you do it at the hospital, my hospital does it at least. They walk you through the nursery and all that stuff. So through the labor and delivery rooms and triage and postpartum and all that. So it was really good. And I mean, it was long, but we crammed. I mean, normally it's a 4-week class. We crammed it all into 3.5 hours one night, and then 9 to 3 one day. So with a 45-minute lunch. So yeah, if you're gonna do that, that's a good one. We're taking Baby Safe next week, and I have my doctor's appointment tomorrow, Monday. So yeah, there's that. So my ER visit, it was interesting. So like I said, I'm still having contractions. I've been having them like a couple times a night. So like when I'm sleeping usually. I don't really notice them during the daytime except for now, because now they're like a sharp pain. But so at night I'd been having like 1 or 2, and at first I thought they were Braxton Hicks, but then after being at the hospital last night, I know now that they weren't. Braxton Hicks aren't really supposed to hurt. They're just supposed to be your muscles contracting, and mine were painful. So that was kind of the difference. So if you don't really understand, once you have a real contraction, then you'll know whether or not you were actually having the Braxton Hicks. So Friday I felt really good. Got home, went to sleep, slept actually really good Friday night. Got up, we went to breakfast, and then went to our class. And I had been having, we sat on the floor most of the day. Well, I sat on the floor most of the day on my pillow because my back had been hurting really bad. Like just kind of an achy, dull pain. And so I just kind of attributed it to the sitting for so long. So then we decided, so it was his birthday yesterday too, so he was in childbirth class for his birthday, poor guy. But so then we went to dinner, and we were going to go to a movie afterwards. And it was like, we left childbirthing class at like 3 o'clock, and then went to go to dinner. Yeah, went to dinner, and then right after dinner, like, we left the parking lot, and I started coughing, and I was like, I'm in some serious pain. Like, I was having sharp pains from hip to hip, right underneath my stomach. Every time I coughed, or like anytime I moved my legs, anytime I like contracted that lower pelvic muscle, I was getting really sharp pains. So I pulled over, and I had him drive, and I called the hospital, or called my OB and said, I'm having these really sharp pains. What should I do? And she's like, okay, well, just get off your feet. She asked if my back was hurting, and I was like, yeah, my back's been hurting all day. And when I'm standing and not contracting my muscles, then I'm having like a lower pelvic pressure. She said, okay, well, go to your movie, put your feet up. If you're still having the pressure or pain after the movie, then call me. So luckily we had the labor and delivery class that day, so I had pillows in my car. So we just went to the movie theater. I propped a couple pillows. People thought I was probably nuts bringing in my own pillows to the movie theater, but whatever. At least I'm showing now, so it doesn't look as crazy. So I propped myself up in the theater. We watched the movie, and I was still having it was like once every, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I would have the sharp pain, and then I was just having that constant dull ache in my lower pelvic and back area. So when we left, I called the doctor back. I was like, okay, so the sharp pain's only coming and going now, and it's only when I contract my muscles, or if I'm just sitting there for like 30 minutes, it'll come back. So she's like, okay, well, I'll admit you to the ER. So we went straight to the ER. They put me in triage to monitor me, and I had the lower pelvic. So they did a urine sample, and then asked a bunch of questions, and then the lower pelvic pain or pressure was still there. And then, like, maybe 30 minutes later, I started having the contractions really, really bad. Like, I don't know, it just seemed constant. Like, I just couldn't, they just weren't stopping. So they gave me a shot that was supposed to block the contractions, because they don't want me to go into real labor this soon, if they could prevent it. So they gave me a shot, and the shot made the contractions stop for like 5 minutes, maybe 10, but it made my heart rate go to like super, super high, and made my blood pressure drop really, really low. So, and I started puking, and the contractions after the 15 to 20 minute period got really, really close together, and just like my entire stomach, all the way around the perimeter of it, was contracted in sharp pain. Like, I was bawling. I've never been in so much pain in my entire life. So they called the doctor back. The doctor's like, okay, well, put an IV in, and they put me in overnight watch and recovery. Put an IV in, put me on some different medication, which I'm still taking. Some pill form that's also supposed to block contractions, but it's just a different type. And that started working like within 15 to 20 minutes. My contractions were pretty much gone, especially after they put the IV in. I was feeling really good. So there's that. Hi. So they put me in. I had to stay in overnight. The doctor came in the next morning. I had only had a couple contractions after I started taking the medication. They put me on Ambien that night too to sleep, and that stuff makes you hallucinate and have really weird dreams. So if you can avoid it, I didn't realize like how bad it was. Almost as bad as sleep as if I would have just not taken it. So, cat. So. Anyway, I went to sleep at like 3 in the morning. I barely remember a doctor coming in at some point at like 6 a.m. to take some blood. They popped another pill in me, and then I passed out again. And then I had a new nurse come in at some point and pop me another pill, and then the doctor came in after the Ambien kind of started wearing off. It was like 9:30. So yeah. I barely remember the doctor coming in, and I think he took blood. I don't really remember. But yeah. So there's that. They drew blood. Everything was fine as far as like my white blood cell count and all that. So there's no infection. They don't really know what caused it. Preterm labor. I mean, it's not. So now I'm on bed rest for the next 2 weeks until I reach like 36 weeks, and then they'll let me kind of do what I need to do, and it's only semi-bed rest, so I can do what I need to do, but if I can stay in my bed, I'm supposed to stay in my bed, so I will be working from home the next 2 weeks. Hi, baby. She wants to play. She really wants to play. She's not used to me being around this much. So yeah, there's that. It was an interesting weekend. Anyway, I'll do my measurements. If you have any questions about like what contractions feel like or what it feels like to go into preterm labor, then just feel free to message me or comment, and I'll get back to you. Just because I didn't really understand or know what it felt like until they were like, yeah, you're in labor. And I was like, oh, okay, that's probably not good. He was probably more freaked out than I was, but I was just trying to focus on getting rid of the pain. But all right, let's do my measurements. So this is end of my 33 weeks. Alright. 5. And I don't have any stretch marks yet. I do have the line. I don't know if you can see it on the video or not. Yeah, barely. It's not very dark though. Let's see. That's upside down, but I'm sorry. So we're at 37 this week. I know that's bigger than I was last week. A little over 37. Ugh. Ooh. So yeah, a little over 37 inches, and I will go ahead and wait. And I'll probably post maybe my 34-week video by Friday. Give myself some time to just kind of get some more symptoms and see how I'm feeling for 34 weeks as I turn tomorrow. But anyway, I will see you guys in my next video.